So I got a treat for you guys today. I've been working with Renegade Games on the Transformers deck building game for about a year and a half now, and their latest expansion, A Rising Darkness, is going to be coming out soon, and I was given the opportunity to show to you guys a bunch of spoiler cards. The first time anyone is ever seeing these are going to be shown on the podcast here today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post these cards on the screen so everyone can see it. There's actually going to be some editing this time around with the podcast on a visual standpoint. And afterwards, I'll post the same high-res images on Twitter for everyone, and then it'll be spread across the news universe and everything. So let's do that. We got a whole bunch of cool stuff here, and I'm even going to talk about some of the future sets, at least what could be said publicly up to this point, and show some of the cards in relation to that. But so let's talk about A Rising Darkness. Now, the original set that we had, the base core set, was really just an Autobot set. It could be played alone, it could be played with friends, but more in a co-op kind of nature. It's Autobots against NPC Decepticons. You're playing against something that can't be controlled, essentially, or partaked in a one versus one nature. With the release of this set, that is going to change because this new set, A Rising Darkness, is going to be Decepticon based. So now we could have this team versus team kind of thing, and I'm going to get into that with a moment because I actually have a little statement from one of the creators of the game and designers in Dan Blanchette. So let's get into the spoiler cards first because that's what everyone is waiting for. So the one that we're going to be showing today is the big one, especially because if you pre-order the game, you get a bonus character, and the bonus character is Astrotrain. So we're going to show these spoiler cards today of Astrotrain and a few other stuff too. So the cool thing about Astrotrain is he's a triple changer, and so how does one address the triple changer kind of segment in a card game? So instead of it just being a typical flip thing where one side is the robot mode and the other side is the alt mode, there is a separate card on the side, a token card, if you will, that then you could kind of apply to that. So first you have on the robot mode side, target player shuffles one ally they control into their deck. It stays on the flavor of Astrotrain being a transport vehicle for the Decepticons, and you have that side of it that exists. When you flip them over, you have a unique card display that says select an Astrotrain alt mode and place that card's alt mode face up on top of this card. So that's where you go to the token card on the side, where you have a separate card that has both alt modes on each side. You have the Astrotrain shuttle mode, which gives you flight, no surprise, which is good because you end up with a character that has both a ground mode kind of attack and a flight mode. And he has flight. While battling adversaries, he has -1 flight mode. He's more of a transport thing, so he's more vulnerable. Again, stays on flavor. When he's in the Astrotrain train mode, which when you flip the card, it says when you move, you may move any Decepticon character in your space with you. Again, emphasis on the fact that he's a transport unit. I'm all about flavor. I'm all about top-down design, where top-down design is essentially when you go from the top of the card, you have the name Astrotrain, and you have his faction, and you use that as the basis for how you then write down to the bottom of the card, aka all the mechanics and stuff. And that's what I love about it. Really good, emphasizes that, really good. Now, we have some other characters. Let's show you Megatron. Now, obviously, no surprise, the Decepticon set is going to have a whole bunch of Decepticon characters, and the leader of the Decepticons, Megatron, is no exception. So, not much really I want to just mention with him because he's, it's Megatron. He's obviously going to have that kind of Lord aspect where cards you control have +1 range. Again, range, he's a character known for being a gun or a tank, long range kind of stuff. Pay two less power to defeat an adversary boss this turn. Again, sacrifice in order to achieve something. And then flip him. He's in his tank mode. +1 power, range 1 during your turn. Again, tank, long range, stuff like that. Let's go to Starscream. So Starscream is all about treachery. and is all about, you can't trust him, or there's a sacrifice when you do trust him. So you have draw one card, then discard one card. Of course, because in order to gain, you have to give up with Starscream. And then it's give one damage you control to target player. Same idea, you can't trust him. Flip him, flight mode, jet mode, the classic F-14 from back in the day. The flight mode, after you are ambushed, you may convert, implying that Starscream runs away because he's a coward. Then we get into our boss cards. Now, because this is a Decepticon set, the boss cards this time around are Autobots. So we have here today, we're going to talk about the Optimus Prime and the Ironhide Autobot boss cards. Now, Optimus Prime, because again, also, he's a leader, aka a lord kind of card, as it's known within the TCG lingo. Reveal attack, discard each ally card your control, then resolve an ambush. Again, all about ally, all about leader of the Autobots kind of thing. Start of turn, draw and resolve an ambush, and then gain 5 VP. Probably the most out of all of them because it's Optimus Prime, although we won't talk about the other boss cards just yet until they're publicly revealed. Ironhide, reveal attack, gain 1 damage, discard 1 ally you control, then resolve an ambush. Ironhide is tough, he could take damage, and he could discard. And start of turn, discard 1 starter card. Not much really to take from that there, just something unique to Ironhide, gain 4 VP. So those are the ones that we have right now. There is going to be other character cards. You could pretty much guess who the other main Decepticon character cards are going to be, judging by the box art. I'm not going to say who they are, but you could use your imagination to figure that out. And that's some pretty awesome stuff. It's going to be coming out very soon, very, very, very soon. The estimated date is going to be July 2022, or the second quarter of the year. But that's just a loose estimation for the time being. So, it might be a little later, it might not. So just hope for the best with that one. Because this is a set that could be standalone, it comes with a little more stuff. So the MSRP is going to be $45. All the future expansions might be cheaper because they're not going to be standalone kind of stuff that could be played alone. They're something that is more of a addition to what we already have. So it goes into the statement that Dan Blanchette said, is that he wanted essentially that this, if you pick up this set, a Rising Darkness, you're essentially now completing the game in a lot of ways as it was originally intended in its original concept, in that now you could finally have team versus team, Autobots versus Decepticons. And before, like I said, it was just, you had that core set. It was just Autobots, and you could either do co-op or you could you ended up with an Autobot kind of thing. And if it was Autobots versus Autobots, it'd be weird thematically. So with a Rising Darkness coming out, you finally have that true team versus team, Autobot versus Decepticon flavor, and the full value of the deck building game is now shown this way. So if you are picking up this set, a Rising Darkness, and you haven't picked up the Autobot one, I suggest you do, because then you would get the full value and the full package here. And pick up those bonus cards on the side if you didn't pre-order initially, and get Jazz in the process from Renegade Studios' website. Now, these both could be played standalone, but to get the full experience, you should get both. And this also leads into then what is going to be scheduled in the future, which is in Q3, no exact date given, but third quarter essentially of 2022. We're going to also have the next expansion, Infiltration Protocol. Now, Infiltration Protocol, what's going to be going on with that is now it's going to open it up to not just, the core Autobot characters, the core Autobot Decepticon characters. Now you're going to have a little bit of everything, a little bit of mix-up of flavor and stuff. Now, what was publicly shown that we could talk about essentially was, you could look at the packaging. The packaging has already been put out there, so you could pretty much take a guess of who the included characters are. And just by looking at those characters that are included, you could just see what I'm talking about in terms of just the different kinds of diversity of characters that we have this time around from the different kinds of Transformers that we've had throughout the years in terms of sub-factions and concepts. But what has been publicly shown, we did see Sixshot and some of his cards, and how he's going to function is he's going to be 3 separate cards, and you just kind of pick the alt modes off of those 3 separate cards. 3 cards, each card has 2 sides. It's 6 sides in total. Sixshot, perfect. And of course, Springer's going to be in it too, and Springer, the way he's going to be handled is going to be much like Astrotrain, where we're going to have Springer, we're going to have the other side just be pick a side, and then you're going to have the other token card on the side to decide which alt mode you are going to be using with him. And that's more or less it. There is another set that supposedly is going to be coming afterwards, but that's a little hush-hush, and it's going to involve some Dinobots. But stay tuned for that in the future. So if you are interested in this stuff, pre-orders are up on different websites. Renegade Games is one place that you could look if you want to pre-order it directly, and you could get all the pre-order bonuses and everything like that. Not much else that could really be said publicly right now, but pretty cool stuff. Hope you like the spoilers, the card spoilers today. Hopefully I'll get some more to show you guys in the near future. If not, just follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and you'll get all of that too. Enjoy, guys. Hope to talk more soon about this, and check out those pre-orders.